We got some updates on a five-star guard that everyone in the country seemingly is a big fan of. It's Jason Gardner Jr. Jason Gardner Jr., 6'1", combo guard is what he's listed at. Plays at Fishers High School in Fishers, Indiana. This is a 2027 class kid, so we're getting way out in front of this one, but also, I don't know. We're getting more into the range where it's not way out in front anymore with the class of 2027, as crazy as that sounds. Jason Gardner Jr. has offers from a bunch of the biggest programs in the country. He's a priority recruit for schools like Purdue and Indiana, the in-state schools, but also Kentucky, North Carolina as well, among others. Louisville starting to get involved. There were a bunch of updates that came out on Jason Gardner in the last 24 hours. First, we had 24/7 Sports reporting that he has locked in unofficial visits this fall to 5 schools: Kentucky, Purdue, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Cincinnati. Apparently, Purdue, Sean London, and 24/7 Sports. Gardner is also in the process of setting unofficial visit dates with Indiana, Louisville, Florida, and Iowa. So this is a big national scale recruitment, as you can see. Then this morning, we got an interview with Jason Gardner Jr. from Jake Weingarten and stockrisers.com. Shout out to Jake. Make sure you follow him and support the great work that he's doing. But in Jason Gardner's own words, which schools are heavily involved? Pretty much everyone is involved. What a baller answer, first of all. Then he went on to name Ohio State, Texas, Kentucky, Florida, Purdue, Indiana, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Creighton, Iowa, Louisville. That's just to name a few. And then have any newer schools shown interest? He said North Carolina, Wake Forest, Maryland, Minnesota, and Oregon. You can get in-depth, full-length quotes on Kentucky, North Carolina, Indiana, and Purdue in this article. We could speak to some of them in just a moment if you want, but let's stop there. Let's step back broadly. Jason Gardner Jr., the player and the recruitment. Give me your thoughts.
Player, I do really like his game. First off, all first team, like all profile picture. You know what I mean? Like if he's on your roster, you don't have to worry about the team yearbook or anything like that. Like put him right there. Like it's gonna be good. I think he's a really good point guard. He controls the game well. He plays at his speed, which is something I always watch with guards of like, are you going to play to your opponent's speed or do you play to your speed? He always plays to his speed, so he controls the pace of the game, which I think is largely important. I do have one issue though, G, and it's not with him, it's with the process. I don't think you should be allowed to schedule unofficial visits.
That feels pretty official, doesn't
Yeah, like
it?
you just show up to campus and paint's like, oh, that's Jason Gardner Jr. I didn't know you were going to be here this weekend.
Yeah, fair. That it should be more of a surprise element. I don't hate that at all. I love your point. You know, I'm a big headshot guy. This guy has the headshot of like a number one pick in the draft. Like he just aesthetically, this kid's going to be a star wherever he goes. I think his recruitment very clearly signals that as well. Pretty much, I mean, in his own words, pretty much everyone is involved. Everybody wants me. I'm Jason Gardner Jr. You said quickly, you said you think he's a great point guard. He is listed as a combo guard, even though he's obviously the size of a point guard. Do you view him as a true point?
I mean, I only got the highlights I watched were all from the AAU circuit where he like it looked like he was primarily playing point guard. I kind of view him in that realm because of his size. Maybe I view him in that realm because of his size and where he's ranked. I would also assume like he views himself as an NBA guy. So maybe he could play off guard in college with his size, but I don't think he could at the NBA level.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like he's only listed as a combo because he's just a great scorer. And we're kind of just I don't know, oversimplifying. Like, this is a score first guy, so let's call him a combo guard instead of a point guard. Now, I think he can do a lot of point guardy things, but bottom line is this: the ball is going to be in his hands, and he's going to get buckets if he is on your team. Whether you call him a one or a two, whatever you want, I don't really care. In that sense, totally different players, different frames, different levels of athlete, all this stuff. There, I don't mean to compare the skill sets here, but in that sense, it reminds me a little bit of Jaden Ivey, who Jaden Ivey was ended up. He always was listed as a shooting guard, but I feel like he had the ball in his hands so much, you'd be forgiven for mistaking him as a point guard. And in the end, it was kind of just like, yeah, he's a combo guard. But when Jay Ivey was on the court, he was out there to score, right? Again, Ivy was like a transition fiend. I don't necessarily think Gardner's game is anything like Ivy's. I think he does more in the half court. But to me, it's similar to that, where it's like he can be your point guard, but he's going to score first. That's what we're doing if you have Jason Gardner running the show.
He has a lot of Darius A cup to him to me.
Sure. Yeah.
That like even like the spots he gets to is very A cuppy. I think A cup's the sneaky athletic too, which Jason Gardner definitely is as well. But like he has a lot of Darius A cup to him, where it's like he's your point guard, but he's also about to get to the midi, wiggle on you, and hit a hezzy and pull up, and
Yep.
it's unstoppable. It's
Yep.
unstoppable.
No, 100%. I like the A cuff shout. Honestly, a little bit surprised Arkansas isn't one of the names involved here because this feels like a Calipari guard through and through. But Cal, maybe they'll swoop in at some point. Maybe he's just letting everybody else in the country fight for a year, and he'll come in 2027 and make a pitch. Let's read some of these quotes quickly. So he talked on Kentucky. And this is all, again, all through stockrisers.com. These are quotes given directly to Jake Weingarten. But thoughts on Kentucky, quote, I like them a lot. They say how well I fit in with Mark Pope's offense, how dynamic of a point guard I am. North Carolina, quote, they produce a lot of good guards. Hubert Davis really lets his guards rock, really lets them play. Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, That's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girls' sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy. Love his wife. Love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more. Does Hubert Davis do that?
He let Elliot play.
I mean, he lets. Would Ian Jackson say he lets his guys rock?
I don't think Ian Drake or Trimble would say that. And Trimble's still there, to be fair, so maybe he has another opportunity.
I don't know if anyone on North Carolina would be like Hubert lets me rock. I'm just saying. Like even Elliot Cadeau, who's no longer at North Carolina, I don't think he's gonna gas that up. Local programs. He was asked Purdue and Indiana. He said, quote, Indiana and Purdue both say I'm a huge target for them. Coach Painter has dealt with multiple different types of guards. With DeVries, his offense that was used at West Virginia, having Javon Small last year, he compares me to him and how well he played in his system. So if you're doing the check the box semantics game here, Gardner says both Indiana and Purdue are really prioritizing him. Gardner talked Painter before talking DeVries when lumping these two together and asked about them. First thing he pivoted to was Painter. But then the DeVries pitch was pretty good here as well, right? Be Javon Small in that system. You're a West Virginia fan. Do you like the Javon Small pitch from DeVries here?
I do. It also just reminded me there was a world in my lifetime where I could have been coming into year 2 of Darren with Javon Small, Tuck, and Jonathan Powell all still on my roster. And that would have been a lot of fun. I do like the comparison. I think he's farther along than Javon Small, but Javon Small averaged 17 at Eastern Carolina. I don't know his West Virginia numbers, but he kind of like, I mean, he was our leading scorer for sure. And that kind of fits the Jason Gardner Jr. mold. The one thing about Javon Small and any Darren DeVries like point guard, they're gonna get in a stance too. Um, Obviously, I haven't watched like the most Jason Gardner Jr. tape, but I mean, it's not in his tape necessarily him getting in a stance, of course. So like that would be my only hesitation with the comparison, but I do like it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Small, one of the best defenders in the country. Time will tell if that ends up part of the Jason Gardner Jr. pitch or not. I'm intrigued because to summarize all of this, everybody wants him, all these schools involved. It seems like Purdue and Kentucky are getting key early visits here. Indiana's getting a lot of talk and going to have a chance as well. North Carolina's certainly in it. Many new schools trying to get involved. Just to say this as point blank as I can, when we're looking ahead to the 2027 class, schools are starting to show their priorities. There aren't many players in the class, even players higher rated than Jason Gardner Jr., that have this much widespread interest. And it's not just the schools, right? It's got to be a two-way street because if a 2027 recruit wanted to kind of like shut down the recruitment, be a little more reserved, you don't have to be so open like everybody's recruiting me. It seems pretty clear. Jason Gardner wants to be recruited by everyone,
Yeah.
and coincidentally, everyone wants to recruit Jason Gardner. Now, as time goes on, certain programs on this list will need to read the room and make sure they're not wasting time. Like, respectfully, I'm just going to name someone that I know is on his list. Iowa's on this list. If I'm Iowa, do I really want to be showing up to Jason Gardner's house constantly while Kentucky, Purdue, North Carolina, Louisville, Indiana are battling it out? Probably not. So it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves. One thing I would just say very early, whoever wins this recruitment is going to be able to say they went toe to toe with everyone in the country and emerged victorious. And I think there's only 4 or 5 coaches on earth that should feel confident in a recruitment like that. And if we want to name them, we could name them. But like Mark Pope should at least try. Pat Kelsey should try. I don't think Hubert Davis is winning a recruitment like that. If John Shire wants to, he could certainly do it. Respectfully, I think right now Matt Painter could do it.
Mhm.
Todd Golden, probably a guy who could do it. And I might stop there. Is there anybody I'm missing, you think?
Hurley. So this
Hurley could do it.
recruitment to me lines up like if one of these teams doesn't get it done early, this lines up like Duke, Arkansas, UConn get involved like a year from now, and he goes to one of those three schools.
And given how many offers there are, I would bet on that happening.
Yeah. He also, by the way, is currently only a 4 star. I think he finishes as a 5 star, and that
Yeah.
kind of like opens up like Calipari hasn't looked down far enough on the list yet to know who the 4 stars are. Same with Shire. Like once he's bumped up to a 5 star, I think it's a little bit different of an outlook.
Yep. No brainer there for sure. All right. Will be interesting to see where Jason Gardner's recruitment goes. Everybody wants him, and I think he wants everybody.